Okay, so now we have a fetch call that's getting data. We're chaining .thens to resolve this promise, and when the data does come back, it's logged. Great, awesome. You might look at this and be like, this looks kind of wild. This .thens are weird. These catches are weird. We got to do a lot of functions. And you're not the only one who thought this. People thought that this was kind of a pain. And so in newer versions of JavaScript, a new feature came out called async await, and I want to show you how that works. So the way async await works is that you can define functions that will be asynchronous. So function fetch repos, that's what we're going to call it. And we are going to copy and paste this in here. So we want to do a fetch call, and this is perfectly valid, by the way. You can actually put a fetch call in here, and then if we call this function, this will work, right? We're just wrapping this in a function. But if we want, if we want to use the new async await syntax, the first thing we do is we have to declare that this function will be asynchronous. So we use the async keyword. That allows us to use the await keyword. And the way that you can think about the await keyword is that this function call is going to stop execution and wait for this to clear. Okay. And so it took me a little bit to really kind of get the concept of this, but here's the way you can think about it. So in the original fetch call, we eventually got a response, and that's this first parameter in the .then. Well, now with the await, we can get the response and just assign it to a variable. By using await, it's almost like it resolves that promise. And so we eliminate this piece. So now we have a response. The second .then was called on the response.json. So whatever is returned in the .then can be chained with another .then, and we returned response.json. So here's that call. We can await that call and put it in a variable called data. Okay? Now this .then is also gone. And we'll talk about error handling in a little bit. Let's just show how this works. So we'll call the fetch repos function and run this code. And you can see here that we get that array just like we did before. And it's going to be the exact same as this code. So now if we refresh the page, we should literally see no difference. Yeah, no difference. We still get back an array of 30 objects. Cool. So the last piece that isn't being done yet for this new async await syntax is error handling. And there's actually an old solution that kind of gets revitalized with this. JavaScript has had the concept of try catch blocks for a long time. And the idea of a try catch block is that it will execute the code inside the try block line by line, and if any sort of error results, it can be brought to this catch, and then we can handle the error. So let me call that error. There we go. So now this code is essentially the same as this code. only now we're not doing this weird promise syntax. We are doing code that looks pretty synchronous, right? We're doing that fetch call and getting a response and taking that response and converting it to JSON. It reads line by line. It looks very synchronous, and it sort of acts synchronous, aside from the fact that it's still asynchronous. When we call this, the hello is going to appear first because it's asynchronous. This fetch call takes some time to go. We're not blocking our JavaScript and having this wait if we don't need to. So that's the point of it being asynchronous. So this is now really a lot the preferred syntax. You'll still see promise-based code like this. It seems to be getting fewer and farther between because the async await syntax is just very nice. So that's this. That wraps up this video. In the final lecture, we will see how, now that we're getting this data, we can do something with it. Maybe render it to the page. So I'll see you in the next video.